The Star Wars prequels are the best thing ever happened to Star Wars. It's because of those movies that we got the Clone Wars, which is a show that gave me a deeper appreciation for clone troopers. All clones are unique, and this is shown through their armor, as each of them have different paint jobs, symbols, designs, and even more on every single armor piece. One of my favorite clone designs is actually from my favorite Star Wars movie, Episode 3. So today we get to look at Hot Toys recreation of that trooper in 6 scale. This is the Airborne trooper, and his base price is $260, so let's see if he's worth it. As you all know, all good unboxings start with a box, and this is another basic black Star Wars box. There is a beautiful image of the figure on the front, and I am so excited to get him out here. Up top, we see a sideshow exclusive sticker as only 3,000 units of this trooper were made worldwide. The wraparound banner has the figure info. This is MMS 794. The banner has another image of the trooper in front of Anakin and Obi-Wan's starfighters. The rest of the trooper and the figure info can be seen on the right side of the banner. The left side has another beautiful image of the figure, then the back has a ton of additional info. And of course, the top and bottom just state Star Wars. Once the top of the box is removed, we are greeted with some beautiful artwork on that slipcover. I'm a big fan of the 212th Attack Battalion, and of course my favorite color is orange, so that definitely plays a role. And on the slipcover, there's a lot of orange here. We can see the actual figure right there in the middle in front of a beautiful orange background and Republic crest up in the top right. Commander Cody can be seen down below on the left side, and another standard 212th trooper is right there on the right. However, both of these seem to be CGI models and not the actual figures. However, I do own that Cody, and I have their 212th trooper on PO, so I could recreate this in the future if I really wanted to. We now get a sneak peek of that figure, and let's take that plastic tray out of the box. It looks like some assembly may be required since his bag is sitting there, but at least it won't be as bad as that Ghost figure I reviewed recently. That one took me forever to assemble. But now let's get this trooper out here because that armor is already looking as beautiful as I thought it would. Right out of the box, man, that helmet looks insanely good along with all that weathering on it. I just went ahead and took the protective foam and plastic off the figure, and now we can take a closer look. Like I just said, that helmet is beautiful. Ever since seeing him on screen when I was way younger, I love the way his helmet looks. The visor is glossy and beautiful looking. It actually looks like the same shape, or if not similar, to Commander Wolf's visor, so we'll have to compare him in the comparison section. I just love that more chunky look to his helmet with multiple extruded sections around the whole thing. The helmet has lots of painted on weathering that matches Cody's, and I love the orange accents. The rest of the armor looks great, and of course most of it is reused from other clones, but his chest has what seems to be a black leather-like material piece with a yellow stripe in it used to connect his, I guess, suspenders. I mean, they're probably not suspenders, but the band is kind of stretchy and holds his belt up, so yeah. And the strap for those suspenders is done in a beautiful shiny chrome. And once again, the armor is very weathered with many more orange stripes. His right arm is done using reused clone armor pieces, but painted to show weathering with some orange accents, but the left side is much more unique. His shoulder armor has some attached, maybe ammo pieces. It's just a bunch of connected cylinders, and I think it looks pretty cool. Then his bicep armor actually has a gray sculpted on pouch, which is also pretty cool. Going down to his hip skirts, they look nice, but they're pretty basic. But they did add some tears on the backside, unless I took it out of the box a lot rougher than I thought, so that's a cool inclusion. The leg, shin, and feet armor are all reused pieces, but of course they blend in beautifully with the rest of the armor. The thing about the Cody figure and this Airborne trooper is that they're actually live action clones, so they look maybe a little bit different, but at the same time, they're clones at the end of the day, so all clone troopers look kind of the same. And even though they're live action figures, they're gonna go on my Clone Wars shelf for now. But I am working on building up the prequel shelf some more. Let's get out the accessories now, starting with his purse. This bag looks great, and it's done in a kind of a grayish green type color, or at least it looks like it has a little bit of green in there to my eye. What do you guys think? It can actually be opened up because it closes with a magnet, and if you want to, you can just put some stuff in there. Then it has some kind of white panel looking side pieces and some more ammo or something like that in the front. It's 3 cylinders, but I don't know what they are exactly, so if you know, definitely let us know in the comments. And also what's cool about the bag is the fact they put a wire in the whole band to help with like shaping it to the figure, so it actually kind of doesn't need to be weighed down, but it'll still hold its shape. Then to put it on the figure, we just pop the helmet off because it's on a ball peg. Then we can lift his arm up a little and kind of slide the bag over his neck and then under the arm. Putting the helmet back on, this looks fantastic. It really completes his look. Let's look at the hands now. Right out of the box, he has a right very open palm style hand, then a left relaxed style hand. There's a pair of trigger finger hands, a pair of pointing style hands with the left hand pointing with 1 finger and the right hand pointing with 2. Then there's a left thumbs up hand, and honestly, I kind of want to use this on him in the display. The detail on the hands is pretty standard for clones, with a smooth black glove piece with, I guess, the fingers looking like they kind of melted together. But the important part that they always nail is the hand armor, and it looks pretty great here. It's orange and I love the weathering. Let's check out his base real quick. It's a classic rectangular Star Wars base and has a chrome nameplate stating Airborne Trooper. The top is sandy and it's pretty much identical to Cody's base. The sand's textured and painted very nicely, and luckily it's that new style of base without the footprints. We also get a crotch grabber, and this just pops right into the base. Now for his weaponry. He gets a DC-15C. The sculpt and paintwork here is pretty great and matches the rest of the clones. And he also gets a DC-15A, which also looks really good. I think this might be the one I pose him with, although my Cody's already using it, so we'll see which one I like more with the thumbs up. Let's look at his articulation now. If you own any other clone or trooper or basically any other Star Wars character with armor like this from Hot Toys, you're probably already familiar with how it moves. One notable difference here is that it kind of uses that older style of helmet connection, which is a ball joint, so there may be a little bit more movement for this figure as compared to like Wolf or Echo, for example, because those ones use that kind of more square type connector. And as expected, his armor kind of restricts some of the movement, but since the armor is a bit adjustable, you can slide it up, down, whatever you need. He does have lots of movement for posing because his undersuit is all fabric. Now for fun, I popped the Cody head sculpt on this trooper. He's a clone, so it makes sense and looks pretty good, but this clone doesn't come with his own head sculpt. The only head sculpts though that are compatible are ball joint ones, kind of like this one, not the ones that use that square connector I mentioned before. But hey, this looks really good. And sure, it would have been cool if he got his own head sculpt, but at the same time, he never took his helmet off in the movie, although we kind of know what he sort of would have looked like. Time for some comparisons, and you know we had to start with Cody. Honestly, this Cody kind of sucks as an exclusive sort of 2.0-ish figure. I had a bunch of issues within the review, but the orange colors do complement each other, and this is a very cool pairing. Both of these are live action troopers from episode 3, so I am very curious how the Airborne Trooper compares to some Clone Wars specific troopers, especially because Cody and the Airborne Trooper's armor has kind of like a more yellowish hue to it. So next I took out Clone Commander Wolf. And as expected, they also look amazing next to each other. They both share a similar visor design as I mentioned, so I expected them to look awesome next to each other. Of course, Wolf uses a more gray color tone and then the Airborne Trooper is orange, but yeah, clones, I love how they look. Now we have to get out General Kenobi because of course the 212th is his attack battalion. And I just gotta say, this Clone Wars Obi-Wan is beautiful and I don't ever see him leave my collection because I just love how it looks. You can probably tell I'm a big fan of Clone Wars looks for figures, so I will always need this look for Obi-Wan in my collection. And next to the Airborne Trooper, this works, although technically in episode 3 Obi-Wan would be more accurate to the scene in the movie. But in general, and I guess sort of pun intended, General Kenobi looks awesome next to the Airborne Trooper. Now we have Rex, and orange and blue are my two favorite colors, so yeah, I kind of love how they look together. The contrasting armor colors just works for me. Rex may be replaced in my collection soon with the Ahsoka version, so definitely keep an eye out for that review. But this Clone Wars specific Rex has a bit more of a green hue to him, and then the Airborne Trooper has a bit more of a yellow one. Now we have ARC Trooper 5s, and once again, man, I love how troopers look. Yes, they're all kind of similar, but like I said in the intro, the Clone Wars gave me such a deep appreciation for every clone, especially the name ones. Like 5s has such an awesome story, but then there's troopers like the Airborne Trooper that I just love the look of. So yeah, I love this figure. Yes, I know some collectors see Hot Toys troopers and think, oh, that's just another trooper, and sure, they're correct. At the end of the day, they are just all kind of troopers, and Hot Toys has trooper making down to a science, so lots of the parts are reuse. But for me, I get roped in because I love the story of each trooper in the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars is one of my favorite shows, so of course that helps. Every clone has a name, they have their own story, they have custom armor, and they're just awesome. However, this trooper doesn't fall into that trooper category. This trooper is just an unnamed clone trooper from the best Star Wars movie of all time, Episode 3. However, I just love the armor design, so I needed to pick him up. He's my favorite color. He has his strap and bags that make him look extra cool, and that helmet. Man, I love that helmet. This may be my favorite design for any trooper helmet or trooper in general. One big downside to this trooper though is the fact that it's limited to 3,000 units worldwide, so I was lucky enough to get one, but it may be tough to track one down now. If you can find one for a reasonable price, I'd say to go for it, but if you don't collect troopers, this one definitely won't change your mind. But let's talk about the Airborne trooper down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a like and hit subscribe for much more content like this. Check out another figure review in the playlist that'll pop up, maybe the Commander Cody review because that figure was very disappointing, or check out the collection tour to see how my collecting journey is going. As always, thank you to the channel members. I look forward to talking to you all again very soon, but until next time, stay 6 scale.